On a quiet night, everything seemed peaceful in the neighborhood. But suddenly, a thin line of smoke began to rise from a small old house. Within minutes, the smoke turned into flames. The fire started spreading quickly, lighting up the dark sky. Inside the house, something was still alive. A tiny kitten, alone and terrified, was trapped inside the burning home. The smoke filled the room as the little kitten cried helplessly in the corner. Outside, neighbors began to panic as the flames grew bigger and bigger. Sirens echoed through the night. A fire truck rushed toward the burning house, but no one yet knew that a small life was still fighting to survive inside. Firefighters quickly surrounded the burning house as the flames continued to grow stronger. Water hoses blasted powerful streams toward the fire. But the heat was intense and the smoke was everywhere. Inside the house, the tiny kitten was still trapped. The little animal hid under a table, trembling as the fire slowly spread closer. Then suddenly, one of the firefighters paused. Through the crackling of flames and the chaos outside, he thought he heard something. A faint sound. A weak, desperate meow. He looked toward the burning house again. Was something still alive inside? Without hesitation, the firefighter grabbed his oxygen mask and prepared to enter the burning building. Because if that sound was real, a small life was still waiting to be saved. Without wasting another second, the firefighter stepped into the burning house. Inside, the heat was overwhelming. Thick smoke filled every corner, making it almost impossible to see. Flames were spreading across the walls and furniture, turning the house into a deadly trap. Carefully, he moved deeper inside, searching through the smoke. Then, he heard it again, a weak, desperate meow. Following the sound, he pointed his flashlight toward a dark corner of the room. And there it was, a tiny kitten covered in soot, shaking in fear behind a broken chair. The little animal was barely moving. Gently, the firefighter picked up the fragile kitten and held it close. But the fire was getting worse. Now they both had to make it out. Before it was too late, the fire was getting worse. Flames were spreading across the house, and parts of the ceiling were starting to collapse. Holding the tiny kitten close to his chest, the firefighter quickly searched for a way out. The smoke was thick, and every step was dangerous. Behind him, burning wood began falling from the ceiling. There was no time to lose. With the fragile kitten protected in his arms, he ran through the smoke and flames toward the exit. Outside, firefighters and neighbors waited nervously, hoping he would make it out. Then suddenly, through the thick smoke, a figure appeared at the doorway. The firefighter stepped out of the burning house, carrying the tiny kitten. But the little animal was still very weak. They needed to act fast to save its life. Outside the burning house, the tiny kitten lay weakly on a small towel. Its tiny body was covered in soot, barely moving. The firefighters quickly placed a small oxygen mask near the kitten, hoping it wasn't too late. Everyone stood silently watching and waiting. Seconds felt like minutes. The little kitten barely breathed. For a moment, it seemed like the fight was over. Then suddenly, the tiny kitten moved. Its small eyes slowly began to open. A quiet wave of relief spread through the crowd. The firefighter gently picked up the kitten, holding it carefully in his hands. Against all odds, the tiny life had survived the fire. And that night, a brave firefighter didn't just fight the flames. He saved a life